A blonde was sitting on the train reading the newspaper. The headline shouted, 12 Brazilian soldiers killed. She shook her head at the sad news, then she turned to the stranger sitting next to her and asked, "How many is a Brazilian?" Bubbles and Barbie, two blonde sisters, had promised their uncle, who had been a seafaring gentleman all his life, to bury him at sea when he died. Of course, in due time, he did pass away and the two blondes kept their promise. They set off from Clearwater Beach with their uncle all stitched up in a burial bag and loaded onto their rowboat. After a while Bubbles says, "Do you think we're out far enough, Barbie?" Barbie slipped over the side and finding the water only knee-deep, said, "Nope, not yet, Bubbles." So they row a little farther. Again Bubbles asks Barbie, "Do you think we're out far enough now?" Once again Barbie slips over the side and almost immediately says, "No, this will never do, the water is only up to my chest." So on they row and row and row, and finally Barbie slips over the side and disappears. Quite a bit of time goes by and poor Bubbles is really getting worried when suddenly Barbie breaks the surface gasping for breath. "Well, is it deep enough yet, Is?" "Yes, finally." "Hand me the shovel." Mrs. Ward goes to the doctor's office to collect her husband's test results. The lab tech says to her, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but there has been a big mix-up and we have a problem. When we sent your husband's samples to the lab, the samples from another Mr. Ward were sent as well and we are now uncertain which one is your husband's. Frankly, it is either bad or terrible." "What do you mean?" Mrs. Ward asked. "Well, one has tested positive for Alzheimer's and the other for AIDS. We can't tell which is your husband." "That's terrible. Can we do the test over?" questioned Mrs. Ward. "Normally, yes. But Medicare won't pay for these expensive tests more than once." "Well, what am I supposed to do now?" "The people at Medicare recommend that you drop your husband off in the middle of town. If he finds his way home, don't sleep with him." A woman found out her husband was cheating. So she grabbed a large knife, intending to cut off his PES while he slept. She lifted the blanket and raised the knife over her head. But as she swung it down, he moved slightly and she ended up chopping off his leg instead. The husband called the police, and they arrested her for assault and attempted murder. But given all the circumstances, the judge decided that she was only guilty of a misdemeanor. A man walks into a bar accompanied by a 12-inch tall man playing a tiny piano. Walks into a bar. The bartender is amazed and asks, "Where did you get that?" The man replies, "There's a genie outside granting wishes." Excited, the bartender rushes outside and finds the genie. "I wish for $1 million, he shouts. Suddenly, the sky fills with ducks, quacking and flapping everywhere. The bartender storms back inside. "Hey, I think your genie is hard of hearing. I asked for $1 million, not ducks." The man sighs and says, "Do you really think I asked for a 12-inch pianist?" Late one Sunday afternoon, a blonde from a Pennsylvania small town was taking a long walk through a nearby meadow, when she was surprised to see a parachutist trapped in the high branches of a tree. "Help," he cried when he spotted her down below. "What are you doing up there?" she called back. "I was skydiving," he answered, "and my parachute didn't open." The blonde rolled her eyes. "Well, of course it didn't. If you'd just asked one of the locals, anybody could have told you that nothing around here opens on a Sunday." A blonde hops on and off a curb on a busy street, saying 54 over and over. A brunette walks by and asks what the blonde is doing. The blonde replies that she is jumping on and off the curb saying 54 over and over. The brunette joins her. Soon, the brunette gets hit by a passing car. The blonde watches as the car drives away. The blonde then continues to jump on and off the curb, saying 55 over and over. 80,000 blondes meet in a football stadium for a Blondes Are Not Sued convention. The leader says, "We are all here today to prove to the world that blondes are not sued. Can I have a volunteer?" A blonde gingerly works her way through the crowd and steps up to the stage. The leader asks her, "What is 15 plus 15? After 15 or 20 seconds she says, 18. Obviously everyone is a little disappointed. Then 80,000 blondes start cheering, "Give her another chance. Give her another chance." The leader says, "Well, since we've gone to the trouble of getting 80,000 of you in one place and we have the worldwide press and global broadcast media here, I guess we can give her another chance." So he asks, "What is 5 plus 5? After nearly 30 seconds she eventually says, 90. The leader is quite perplexed, looks down and just lets out a dejected sigh. Everyone is disheartened, the blonde starts crying and the 80,000 girls begin to yell and wave their hands shouting, "Give her another chance. Give her another chance." The leader, unsure whether or not he is doing more harm than damage, eventually says, "Okay. Okay. Just one more chance. What is 2 plus 2? The girl closes her eyes, and after a whole minute eventually says, 4. Throughout the stadium pandemonium breaks out as all 80,000 girls jump to their feet, wave their arms, stomp their feet and scream, "Give her another chance. Give her another chance." Green, the local athletic champion, was not shy about blowing his own horn. Whenever he had a chance, he went on and on about his athletic prowess. Everybody in the club had heard the same stories over and over, and could recite them by heart. One day he was going on and on again, when a newcomer spoke up. "Green, I will bet you $100 that I can wheel something in a wheelbarrow from one end of the football field to the other, and you can't wheel it back." Green looked the newcomer over. He certainly wasn't a hefty sort of guy. He thought of bags of cement, bricks, iron, sand, and concluded that whatever the newcomer could do, he could do better. "You're on," he said, and they shook on it. Everybody followed them out of the clubhouse and walked to the field, while somebody was sent to borrow a wheelbarrow from the grounds staff. Green and the newcomer walked to one end of the field and drew a starting line. When the wheelbarrow was ready, the newcomer rubbed his hands, picked up the handles, and said, "Green, my friend, get in." Hey there, I put a lot effort into making these videos, so please subscribe for more jokes and stay happy, thank you.